It's time for the Teed Off Podcast.
It is episode 24 of the Teed Off Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Clyburn, here with my co-host, Aaron Thomas. Aaron, how's it going, man?
Good, Ben. How you doing today?
Doing really, really well. We are joined in the studio today by Chris Cooper from Tidewater Golf Club. Chris, thank you so much for sitting in with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm looking forward to this.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me go over the agenda of the show today. We'll hit the front nine, the world of golf, recap the U.S. Open, talk about Scottie Scheffler's continued dominance of the game, and then we'll talk about arguably the face of golf, maybe playing heel, Rory McIlroy, what's going on with him. We'll discuss that, and then we'll preview the Open Championship back at Portrush this year, talk about our favorites and sleeper picks. We'll make the turn. It'll be Chris's story, how he got involved in the game of golf, and how he ended up at the beautiful Tidewater, and what makes that course special, some golf packages that you might want to consider when you're booking on mbgolf.com. That includes Tidewater. Then we'll hit the back nine and talk some more Myrtle Beach golf, some fall and spring round updates, accommodations of the episode, and last but certainly not least, teed off. You guys ready to jump in?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The front nine.
Okay, the front nine. A lot to talk about in the world of golf. The U.S. Open was an interesting one. The course at the beginning brought everybody to their knees in typical Oakmont fashion, and then at the end kind of brought them to their knees from Mother Nature. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the tournament, and JJ Spaun kind of pulling a Nick Taylor there at the end and dropping that putt. What did you guys think of the tournament overall?
It was everything I hoped for from a U.S. Open. I mean, I have some friends, we talk about it and say we want the U.S. Open to be, winner, even, +1, somewhere in there, just how difficult the course is. And I thought Sunday was everything I wanted for a finish.
Yeah. What did you guys think of, the weather? The grounds crew did an amazing job keeping the course playable. But on Sunday, there were some questionable things, like Sam Burns thinking he was in standing water. Do you think that was a bad break, or everybody's playing the same golf course and JJ Spaun just outlasted everybody?
I think it was both.
Yeah, I was just say combination.
It was a bad break, but everybody was playing the same golf course. And I'm with Aaron. I like the U.S. Open once a year. I like to see golfers, struggle when they play golf, and even professional golfers. We see them light the scoreboard up all year long, which is fun too. I like watching guys make a lot of birdies, something I don't do as much of anymore. But to see them to struggle and even part of become a good scorer, I think that's a lot of fun. But like you were saying, I think the golf course got obviously very difficult. To watch what JJ was doing. I mean, I've been following his career, I think, since 2012. That guy turned professional. He's been on and off all the different tours. To watch a guy like that finally come through and do something like that was fantastic.
And how he started on Sunday.
Oh, I know.
I mean, hitting the pin and all those bogeys. And I mean, he could have put his head down and just said, maybe some other time. I started off. I mean, he was pretty much wire to wire. I mean, I know he lost the lead during the rounds, but wasn't he in the lead after every day?
I think after the third round, he had lost it to Sam Burns.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was a shot out. Group.
But you're right. After 30 minutes, you didn't even see him anymore. He was kind of gone.
The coverage was like, forget JJ.
He was kind of gone. But, what he did on the back nine, you're right. I think that putt on 12, when he finally made that putt, got back in to he was just grinding.
Yeah.
I think the weather for him was a great thing.
Yeah.
You can see he's a mutter. He's a grinder. And you could see everybody else. They had a reason, bad break, bad call, whatever you call it. But he just all of a sudden, hey, JJ Spaun makes a long putt. You got to see the putt. Then they come back to him. I think on 14, he makes another birdie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he's back in the tournament. They're talking about him. But yeah, to watch him just put his head down, he knew par was a good score. All those other guys were just coming back to him. And yeah, then the way he finished, he just kind of jumped on him on 17, 18, boom, boom, it's over,
Yeah, I agree with the U.S. Open being a around even or over par tournament.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten a little bit away from that. The L.A. Country Club won the last one at Pebble, which it was more set up for the AT&T, not for the U.S. Open. I mean, that was just kind of a joke to me. But they didn't get the June Pebble weather either, so I'll cut them a break. But I think when Angel Cabrera won in 07 at Oakmont, the winning number was 5 over, and it was blistering hot and, hardwood floor greens. And so that's the U.S. Open that they wanted.
Yeah. So. I mean, and rough's the great equalizer. Yeah. You know that. You start pinching in the roughs, so you make rough where it's a penalty. You hit it in there, those guys were saying, hey, we've got to hack it out and just try to make a par. And then the greens are really firm, like you said. The pins get stuck on some of those corners, but that's what you saw at Oakmont. There were no flat putts. Yeah. Everything was up and down. And so, I mean, you watch guys try to make 10-footers all week for par, and then after a while, it comes right back down to par, and there it was.
And that thick rough, I mean, the power players, Bryson DeChambeau, who arguably playing the best golf of his life the last 12 months, defending champion, got the best of him. And it was the rough. It was not the putts. He was putting for par instead of trying to score, and he couldn't get close enough to the hole because he was playing from the rough.
Right. No, well, Oakmont's not super long. Yeah. I mean, it's not super long. So they put a premium on driving the ball in the fairway there. Yeah. And, guys like Spaun,
And on Sunday, how many, wedge duffs did you see coming out of that rough? That's all they could find was the rough on Sunday. Yeah.
And Spaun, you nailed it there. I mean, he split the fairways all week, dude.
He did.
I mean, that the ribbon, I was just like, well, that's right in the middle. I mean, you're gonna do well.
Well, he's got 2 shots that are going to live on forever in U.S. Open highlights. When he drove the green and then his final putt. It's just, they're going to live on forever.
And we've been watching it all week too. They give you that view right from behind the tee, and, they're just kind of hitting it out into nothing. And you watch that ball, you'd watch it all week. When the guys cut it a little too much, you knew it was short and right in that front bunker. Then the guys that were kind of hanging on to it and pulling it on that left side. And right when he hit that thing and it started cutting, he picked his tee up because he knew that's as good as I've got. He knew where that pin was in that back right, and man, it was tight. It was clutch. That was clutch. Yeah. It was over when he did that. In my opinion.
Yeah. Let me ask you all this though. I like a hard U.S. Open course. Do you like par threes over 300 yards? I think that's silly.
For guys that can do it, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, somebody said something during a practice round, said, man, I love a reachable par 3.
Yeah. I was going to say it would have been embarrassing for me to have been standing there, and I'm like, man, I can't get there.
Yeah.
I can't get there.
I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah. I mean,
let the greens do the talking.
Everybody plays the same hole. You hear that. But 300 yards, that's a little much. Yeah. I mean, I agree. But I mean, what was it? The year before it, a couple years back, in LA.
Oh,
right? They had the little short 100-yard one too, and that gave them a hard.
It did
a lot of trouble there. So anyway, for me, 300 yards probably a little long.
I'm just asking. I think it's a little trivial, and I think they just wanted to do it to say it. I tell you this much: I would not want to be a member of Oakmont Country Club. The people that want to be a member, that's the course they expect, and that's their jive. I couldn't play that course twice a week.
It defined the slogan, though, which I thought was perfect, was we're not trying to embarrass the best golfers in the world. We're trying to identify them.
But the best golfers in the world don't play it every week. That's what I was just like, wow. And they interview people, say, listen, we've seen it rolling in 18 before. We've seen the rough higher than this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow. It's a bucket list thing, but I would not want to be a member and play there like in a men's group.
Oh yeah, to your point. I mean, can you imagine that each week?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna if you're a scratch golfer at Oakmont, it's going to travel everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so you think I was thinking of that very thing too. They like it tough.
Yeah.
They wanted to play hard. Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's
all power to them. Barstool had, or somebody, he was a correspondent or something. He was a scratch.
Yeah.
And he shot a 93 on Monday.
I saw that.
Championship tees.
And they said, who was it I was out there on X or something about.
JT started it.
Was that it? Was it Justin Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But he said throw a 15 handicapper out there.
Yeah.
But I think it was a Fox Sports guy. I forget who he was, but he shot like a 40, like a 47 or something on the front or something and had to rein it in. But I think it actually might have been in the 50s. And he shot something better on the back, but 93 from a scratch golfer.
Well, it's like we mentioned, the par 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Driver.
getting that thing in 2.
Well, you would stand on every tee and say, all right, what can I know I'm going to hit in the fairway?
Yeah.
That's how I would start.
Right.
Yeah. If it's a 5-iron, I'm still in the 5.
Yeah. And just try and
I
hit
got
it
to keep
straight.
it in the fairway because you know you don't want to be in the rough. So,
Well, coming off a top 10 finish, which I guess is a disappointment in his recent play the last few years, Scotty Scheffler. I said on the last episode when we were previewing, 2 episodes ago, I said that Scotty Scheffler wasn't going to win a tournament this year. I said there's no way somebody who has gone through that level of success, you're approaching the threshold of some of the greatest golfers ever if you continue it. And I just didn't believe that it was possible or highly unlikely. Changed his putting grip again, got hurt, although minor, had just become a father. I just thought maybe there was just some steam let out of that thing. Not that he wasn't going to play well. I just didn't think he was going to win. And the bottle was on that for a little bit. I looked pretty dang smart for a second. And then he's, rolls off 3 wins, 3 of 4. And
Ben hated it when Scotty started getting close to winning because every Sunday I was sending a text. I'm like, it's going to happen.
I mean, it's hard to believe what the guy does. And like, to your point, I mean, you keep thinking, well, at some point, he'll slow down a little bit. I mean, but when you're watching somebody that's great, you really don't know it till it happens, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to continue to happen.
Yeah.
But I think that guy, if you look at the people that are around him, I think the support that you get when you're playing golf on that level, just to see that to me looks like he has a great life off the golf course.
Yeah.
And when you see his whole group there at the end, his caddy, his wife, and obviously now his kid, you never know how a guy's going to react to being a new father.
Yeah.
You never know, But I think he and his wife, if you listen to that story, I think they were high school sweethearts.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been friends a long time. She knows what he needs. She knows the support he needs or what he needs. I think that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Man of faith, you see all that. And I think
and a routine guy.
Golf course. Yeah. It looks like he,
2012 Tahoe, he drove for years and years and years and years. Jim Nantz bought it for charity last year. I mean, that represents who he is. Something that I think is different in Scotty this year. We've seen him be very demonstrative. He was demonstrative on the driving range during the U.S. Open. I mean, he finished in the top 10 and had a shot to win it sitting on the first tee on Sunday and was really giving it to his coach, not in a blame game, but in frustration. I think he's
frustrated with himself.
Throwing clubs, against his bag. I mean, not that he was, I wouldn't say robotic, but the previous 2 years, it was just like all he was doing was winning and smiling and holding a trophy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been interesting to see. We've just kind of peeled back a layer of the onion to say, man, this guy is at the top of his game, but he's battling himself too.
Well, he's also got a competitive nature that, I mean, if you've heard people on tour talk about it, he doesn't, like, you don't necessarily, when you looked at Tiger, you're like, yeah, this guy just wants to beat everybody. And you don't necessarily see that when you first look at Scotty Scheffler, but he has that mentality. I mean, everybody that speaks of him says he is so competitive that I think that's part of what drives it.
And I was going to say, has he always been that way and we're just noticing now?
Maybe.
I mean, he's probably been that way the whole time. But, and expectations go up. His own go up as ours go up for him. Yeah. So,
and he's meeting them, I mean, he's ticked off almost every single stat.
Can't imagine the pressure.
Yeah. And he's meeting it.
Yeah.
And, it's no secret when we talk about the Open, he's the favorite right now. These odds that I pulled, 9-2 favorite. Mm-hmm. It's insane.
He would have to be.
I mean, but how could he not be?
Yeah.
You mentioned Tiger Woods, and he's such an assassin, no matter what. I mean, and if you interviewed him today and asked him, when he enters a tournament, no matter what his personal life, injury life, he enters a tournament thinking he's going to win.
Sure.
And he wants to destroy him. Let's transition to another huge story in golf. Rory McIlroy wins the Masters, gets the career Grand Slam. An electric Sunday at Augusta. I mean, one of the most memorable I can remember, whether you like him or don't like him, you watched.
A lot of fun to watch.
And it was cool to see him get the career Grand Slam. Since then, he has refused to talk to the media. He did not call Jack Nicklaus, who he confided in at the Masters, to say he wasn't going to be at his tournament. Jack, who keeps things close to the chest, had a press conference for his tournament and was visibly upset about it. And he's during his very short press conference before the U.S. Open, he said that he was lacking motivation. Just wasn't really feeling it. And I don't think I've ever heard somebody, Tiger Woods was the face of golf for so long. I don't even think the word motivation is not even in Tiger's vocabulary. I mean, he just wakes up a killer. And I think Scottie Scheffler has that in him, kind of a friendly assassin. Rory McIlroy is arguably still the face of golf. You can argue that he's the face of golf over Scottie Scheffler, even from a commercial standpoint, from a playability standpoint, his stardom. What is going on with this guy? I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, just why has he become so unlikable? Why is he playing the heel?
I mean, if you read X, in which I try not to go down many of those rabbit holes, but you see a lot of the same things. Like, is it something in his personal life? They're like, he just looks like somebody that's genuinely not happy. Yeah. And nobody knows what it's about, but something's not right. I mean, it could be a number of things, but I don't know. He's embraced it. I will say that.
Was it
recently?
Recently.
Just recently.
It was Colin Morikawa earlier in the year that said, I don't owe the press anything. That's Colin Morikawa.
Right.
I know he's won 2 majors and he's a United States star golfer. It's Colin Morikawa. Rory McIlroy, there's a level of expectation to be available and be the star of the show that he has met for decades. And we have seen him struggle and we've seen him be great. And he is at the absolute pinnacle to win the career Grand Slam and just as about as likable as he could have gotten right there. And then to just kind of.
Right. Yeah. I think imagine all the years of all the questions that he's received, some that he liked, some that he didn't. He referenced, I think the other day, he said that I don't have to talk to everybody all the time. And I get upset at you guys, and it's not necessarily you guys. He wasn't really talking about. So somebody over the years has upset him. And I don't know, finally he wins the Masters and he thinks, I'm there. That's what I've always wanted to do. It's my personal goal. I've got the career Grand Slam now. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And you're right. It's almost like you can see it in his body language now. It's almost like, I don't want to talk to everyone. I don't feel like I have to. I think to me, it seemed like the situation that happened at the PGA this year when he got the driver pulled on him.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like he really took offense to the fact that they were trying to make it seem like the Augusta thing, he was cheating. You know, you heard that. Yeah. I mean, you heard some of that on X. You heard some of that chatter out there. I don't know if over the years other reporters have asked him the wrong type of questions, but anybody that would ask him that type of thing. So I think he stood away and said, look, I don't want to talk to anybody right now because I don't want that question because I had nothing to do with anything. You know, so I don't know. I think he gets upset at people there in his face. That would be hard for me to understand. I've never been in a position like that, but yeah, just to watch his body language, you can obviously tell he's upset. There's no way to know exactly what the problem is.
And he does get, I think, more personal life questions asked than probably the average PGA Tour person. I mean, let's not forget when the divorce thing went public. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen, apparently. So whatever. I mean, I just saw whenever I watched Full Swing a while back, that's what I saw last year on that. But I mean, he sometimes I can see, somebody digging into your personal life, you might not want that. But
yeah, well, even through the scandals, Tiger Woods has always been pretty dang private with his private life. I mean, these big cracks have shown, but he's always been available to the media when he is doing something publicly. And it goes with the territory. I'm not saying that, reporters aren't that creative. He's probably had the same question asked, about chasing the Masters. Oh my God. I mean, he got that question for 11 years.
Yeah.
And he finally achieved it. I just feel like things should just get easier for you, not harder.
Yeah, I felt like he probably thought he had to take that question, though. Yeah. He hadn't won the Masters, so he had to take it. When they asked him to stand there, I want to do it. He gotten close a couple times. It fallen apart. Yeah. I don't remember exactly what year that was, but But
his first attempt at it.
Yeah, but to stand there and take those questions over there, then to finally get it, you're right. It's almost like he felt like, hey, I've done it. I don't have to do it all the time anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing too is, he made himself the face of the PGA Tour when the whole live thing happened. So, and some people didn't necessarily like how he was the face of the PGA Tour at that time, kind of his language and stuff towards some of the golfers that left. And then the, what do they call about face whenever John Rahm left. And, he's going to be on the Ryder Cup thing. Yeah. None of those guys were Ryder Cup eligible until his number one horse left and went. So there's some of that stuff makes you,
He kind of got shafted there.
Yeah.
Jay Monahan really threw him up because Tiger was injured and propped him up. But he took that mantle. And then Liv or the PIF and PGA at least announced the merger years ago.
Still no deal done.
And then he left the Players Council. So it's just, I just think it's somebody that at his level, I just expect more.
Yeah.
I expect more. I think it goes with the territory of being
expectations.
If you're going to be the best, you got to be the best. And he's done it. And I don't think it's right for him to say, I don't have to do it anymore.
You're right. And they do it for years. Do it for years. And then all of a sudden, when they decide one day, I want to step off and not be that person anymore, it's kind of hard to let him go. And it's not going well right now for him. I can tell you that.
So, it's going to make the Ryder Cup fun.
Man, I cannot wait for that. But the Open Championship is before that.
Yes.
Back in Portrush, Rory McIlroy memorably missed the cut the first time at Portrush, which was a huge disappointment to him and the fans and the home country. But Shane Lowry picked up the pace there and won it for him. So I look forward to it being back at Portrush. I think that is absolutely stunning golf course and a nice little
Do you guys remember who finished second? To Lowry?
No.
It was Fleetwood.
Ooh.
Gosh, it seems like it's been so long ago.
Heartbreak pretty recently at the Travelers for Fleetwood.
Yes, it was.
Does he have that clutch bone in his body, or is he just going to have to wait? I mean,
it would be popular, man. He seems. Listening to everybody talk out there.
He's such a great ball striker. Guy. On the greens is where he is.
Top 10 machine.
Yeah. Well, he top 2 machine too, right? It's
42 now.
Yeah.
42 now.
That camera angle of him, he couldn't even watch Keegan.
I know, I saw that.
But, that brings in whole other questions, though, Chris. Keegan Bradley winning. Are we going to have a playing captain?
Yeah.
What is he now? Number 6 or 7? 8?
8, I believe. 8, I think 8.
Maybe. I mean, could happen.
That would be awesome.
He said he wouldn't put himself on it, but if he qualified he was going to do it. So
would he still be the captain, or would he appoint some vice captains to be more X's and O's?
Pick, right? I think he's picked 4 already. He has 1 left. He hasn't picked yet.
So he said in the interview the other day that he would not appoint somebody to be captain while he played.
Okay.
Like he would be planning on taking it
if he played.
He's going to take it full on if he decides to do it. But he said he's only going to do it if he feels he's only going to play if it best serves the team.
Yeah.
So that'll depend on who's left out there for him.
You're right, man. He is a rah guy in New York. I'm telling you.
Oh man, he's got to play.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, if he's still in form, I think he has to play.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in form all year.
All year.
Yeah.
Actually, the last 2 years,
yeah, he's been right
played
there.
really well. He's been really consistent. And that's what you need, especially like Beth Page Black.
What, he's 43 now? Is that right? 44?
I just saw it the other day, 40s. Too. I can't remember.
Mid-40s.
I'm telling you, he still gets it out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a great driver.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it'd be great.
Well, his odds at Portrush, not that, he's...
Can't be terrible.
No, they got to be pretty good.
It's got a lot to do with what kind of weather they're going.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that.
He hits the ball way up in the air.
So we've got that's usually not helpful. There's even a little scotch of wind that's going to hurt him. But Chris, I'll start with you. Okay. Who's your favorite? We're good. We'll go through our favorites and we'll go through our sleepers for the Open Championship. Who's your favorite?
You know what? I've been watching. He's gotten close a couple of times. I mean, I think if I had to pick, obviously Scotty Scheffler's there. But what Scotty finished last year? 7th, I think. That's his best finish ever in an Open Championship.
It's good to know.
I tell you, I think it's. I'm gonna pick John Rahm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick John Rahm.
Played well at the
he's
PGA.
Played well the PGA. He's played well in spots.
And we forget about him.
We do forget about him because he slid over. There's a couple of those guys that continue to play well, DeChambeau and those guys when they come over. But Rahm, to me, you going over there, I think if I had to pick, that's going to be my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. What are the odds on him? It's like
12 to 1. 12 to 1.
12
That's
to
pretty
1.
dang good.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the number one favorite if we weren't in the Scotty Scheffler era.
Yeah, and Schauffele's he's got to be up there, and obviously
20
Rory's
to
gonna
1.
be there.
Rory's
Oh.
7 to 1. Aaron, who's your favorite?
Scotty. I mean, you
Yeah.
got to. Even
Yeah, it's
though
hard
he's,
not to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the U.S. Open maybe roughed him up a little bit, but he'll get
Only
himself.
finished 7th.
Yeah.
But there again, you see what he does, I mean, he slid back in there in the
Yeah.
U.S. Open. I mean, you thought he was done. He was gone. I'm telling you, had he made a couple putts at the U.S. Open,
He'd have won the
he'd
thing.
have won
Yeah.
it again.
And
I mean, he'd have
a
been right
60,
there.
rolling out a 62 in the Travelers. I know it's always a scoreable track, but I mean, he's just his stats. And I'm going to, hopefully we don't do a montage of what I said earlier in the year and what I'm saying now. My favorite's also Scotty Scheffler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guy I said wasn't going to win a tournament. He's first in strokes gained overall.
Okay, Rory.
First in
Well, we
strokes
don't
gained off the
about
tee.
Scotty too, so I'm like, I'm going to try to pick someone.
I tried. I did the research.
I hear
can't.
you. It's hard. It's hard not to pick him.
Rory, I don't know where his head is. I really like Shane Lowry. I like the story. He's not playing well. He's just not playing that well. Xander, he's not having the best of years. John, I forget about him. Ludwig, not quite met expectations of how he was playing last year. Colin Morikawa.
Russell Henley's a mutter.
Russell Henry's
he's a scrapper.
He's
Yeah.
my sleeper pick.
Yeah, he's a scrapper.
So he's your poor man Scotty this year. So Scotty's first in strokes gained overall, strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, and top 20 in strokes gained putting. That's not bad. For 3 wins, 11 top 10s, and a runner-up, no missed cuts. Russell Henry is 5th in strokes gained overall, first in approach, 75 to 100 yards, and 5th inside 100 yards. That's pretty big.
He likes bad weather.
Yep,
He
he
hits
likes
it head high.
Yep,
I'm
he's
telling you,
30th in putting. He's got 1 win, 1 runner-up, 8 top 10s. The only 2 blips on his radar, 2 missed cuts, and they so happen to be the Masters and the PGA.
Yeah, that's
But he's coming off of a top 10 at the U.S. Open,
yeah.
which were the most difficult of conditions and tracks out of the
Which they
3.
Royal Port Rush.
So
might get it there.
he's at 50 to 1. He's my sleeper pick. Scotty, he's my favorite. I don't have to get into that. Who's your sleeper pick, Aaron?
Well, I want some redemption, and I like Sam Burns. I feel like he's been playing well. He was at the Canadian Open. He ended up losing out on that after 4 or 5 playoff holes, I think it was.
70 to 1.
But I feel like he's playing well enough right now, and maybe some lessons learned from the U.S. Open. Maybe he can carry that over. And
he has gotten so much more consistent the last 2 years. I picked him as a sleeper a few years ago. He was a guy that could roll off 7, 8 birdies out of 10 holes and then explode. I mean, you would see squares and circles all over his card to shoot 2 under.
Yeah.
And he's so much more consistent now. He's really good friends with Scotty. Scotty says he's one of the most competitive guys he knows. I think that's a really good pick.
They are good friends.
Yeah.
And I want him to bring the mullet back for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where he won me, was when he had the mullet for the Ryder Cup.
Yep. Yeah, and he's kind of a hothead. He's calmed down, but he gets hot. He runs hot. So that's great for patriotic movement there.
Yeah, he does run hot.
Chris, who's your sleeper pick?
I'm going to take European. I'm going to take Robert McIntyre.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's he obviously played well in the Open. Won the Scottish Open a few years ago. Yeah, I've just watched him over the years. I think it's time. I think I didn't want to. I mean, he's hitting it from the wrong side, but I've watched him play. I mean, he's impressed me. I don't know if you watched him coming down the stretch there in our U.S. Open. He didn't miss any putts, man.
No.
He just kept knocking them in. So yeah, I think what am I getting there?
Robbie's 25 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my guy.
Coming
If I'm
off of
trying
a
to
really
pick
good,
sleeper pick. That's me, I think.
and likable.
Seems to be.
I don't think I've ever heard a bad thing uttered about Robbie McIntyre, and he's had some exposure in international play. So just a good teammate.
Yeah, I think so.
Lefty's not too far removed from from winning.
Familiar.
Brian Harmon won.
All those guys that grew up playing over there, man, they just know. They know how to play.
There's a different emotion to it that that foreigners, which would be us, don't quite have it. It's just kind of a home field advantage just in that continent. Doesn't have to be in country.
That's their Super Bowl.
Yeah, it is.
That and the Ryder Cup. But I'm telling you, that's he'll play hard there. I think he'll play well.
Well, it's my second favorite major, even though I have to get up in the middle of the night to watch it.
Because, always do it. Huh?
I don't mind it. Yeah.
Because just something about it, just even on TV and the whisper.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just different. The clouds are a different color.
Yeah.
I've been over there before. It looks exactly like it does on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
What's in the middle of the summer here? It's burning hot, and you watch these guys, and they're all covered up. It could be. And then you get one kind of weather in the morning, you get another kind in the afternoon. Who knows what you're going to get? Yeah. You're right. I mean, I like seeing just what type of weather they're going to have to play.
Yeah, and it's a totally different way of playing golf.
That's right.
I love the Sunday morning, like you're getting your final round in, like during breakfast, and it's a great feeling.
You're right.
It's going to be great, and I can't wait to recap.
I'm like you though. My wife thinks I'm crazy. Set an alarm, get up in the middle of the night.
I do the same.
Yeah, we're all doing it.
And then you miss it, especially now that it's the last major, which I think they need to put the PGA back. I understand the FedEx Cup is trying to become this huge thing with the playoffs and stuff, but I miss it being the PGA being Glory's last shot. I think there's some steam that's been taken out of that.
I've adjusted. I'm okay with it because it really, when August, and I think that's the way it's looked at, when August is winding down, so the PGA Tour is kind of winding down, and you got other sports that are picking up. So it does lose some steam in August, I believe. I'm
with you, Ben. I feel like golf's over after the last, and then I've got to wait until college football starts. I have nothing.
Somebody's got to.
My Braves aren't playing well, so that's about it.
Yeah.
See, I could get into the FedEx Cup though. I can. I could watch.
They're going back to just a stroke play event,
which I like. Yeah.
So
maybe it'll be a little more entertaining that way.
Yeah.
For Scotty Scheffler to get such a big lead, that's not a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he needs to give strokes.
We just talked about how great he was.
Yeah.
Now we're going to give.
Of course, I don't know. He choked up a lead 1 year, I remember, and so it's had its interesting points. So we'll see. I'm still looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, that has a lot going on in the world of golf.
Yeah.
What do you say we transition, get a little more close to home, and talk some Tidewater golf with Chris?
Sounds great.
I like it.
Planning an unforgettable Myrtle Beach golf getaway has never been easier with mbgolf.com. At mbgolf.com, we give you the power of choice in pairing world-class golf with premium options from golf course villas to oceanfront condominiums, brought to you by Condo World, the leaders in Myrtle Beach luxury travel. Make your next stay and play journey to the golf capital of the world the experience of a lifetime. It's all just a call or a click away.
Making the turn.
All right, making the turn, and we are joined by Chris Cooper, General Manager of Tidewater Golf Club, located in beautiful North Myrtle Beach. Chris, I ask every guest that comes on the show, what got you into the sport of golf, and how did it end up becoming your profession in Myrtle Beach?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't have a choice. My family, a golf family, they have obviously pictures I can't remember of me when I'm 2 years old holding a golf club there with my dad. My dad was a scratch golfer and a golf coach at a college in South Georgia. So I grew up around the game. I played all the other sports too, baseball, football, basketball, but golf was always there for me year round. We lived close enough to the college where there was a practice area, practice green, and a driving range. And when I was 8, 9 years old, my dad had me come over every day after school and take care of the range. I mean, I would pick balls, ride around a little 3-wheeler, and pick the driving range, and then mow the practice green. I mean, I'm a little guy doing this, but the love for the game was there because my dad had it, and he and I shared that. And I played tons of junior golf, traveled all around. That's what we did in the summers. A lot of my friends played. That was our babysitter back then. I mean, you're in the summers, your parents would just drop you off at the golf course.
There for all day.
See ya. Pool's over here. Here's a couple bucks. Stay out everybody's way. If the pro tells us you were a pain, I'll deal with you when we come pick you up. And that's what we did in the summers, really. Just play golf all the time. And my dad would come out later in the afternoons. He and I would play together. So my dad's love for the game gave me a love for golf. And like I said, I played all the other sports, but golf was always the one that I excelled at the most, and went on to play high school, college, and then got done. Like everybody who's had any success at all in their life, I think I'm good enough. I moved to Orlando and head down there to try to be around it, because back then that's what everybody was doing if you thought you were any good. But you get down there and
still a big
it is it's a big training area. But I moved down there. I worked at a big resort, but I'm like, I'm going to be working at the resort, man, but I'm down here to play golf. That's what's serious. Well, you get down there and you try to play in some tournaments, money gets tight, and before you know it, you find out you're not as good as you thought you were. A lot of good players. And so I got into the golf business there at Grand Cypress down in Orlando. And man, there they teach you just everything. I mean, I started as working in valet for there at the golf club. And then the valet drivers, then they move you down to the bag drop. And then you run this large bag drop. And then they move you from there to the tournament office. You run huge groups for the tournament office there. Then after all of that, they move you to the golf shop, and then you run the golf shops. But through all that, they have a big academy there. You have to be certified in teaching, So I got into the PGA there and became a Class A and met my wife, man. And, that's when my life got straightened out. You tell her, hey, I'm a golfer. Well, I don't see you on TV. So you're really not a golfer. So what do you do? So that's when I got in the golf business, got serious about it, and moved here in 97, started working at Tidewater in 98. So I've been at Tidewater 27 years.
Wow.
I've watched Tidewater just turn into what it is today. When I first got there, we were selling real estate. That was the big key out there, man. We were pushing real estate, and now Tidewater's all grown up, and I've just kind of moved my way through there. I started as an assistant at Tidewater and became head pro a long time ago. Well, it would have been probably 99, 2000. And then we had a little short stint with Troon Golf, and then we were managed by Burroughs and Chapin for a while, for 10 or 11 years. Mm-hmm. And then we went back to self-managed in 2014, where I just kind of managed it with our team out there. Up until recently, in August, we were purchased by Kemper Sports. And for the last couple of years, I've been working with Kemper Sports and been the acting general manager at Tidewater, though, since 2014. So it's been a journey, man. I love golf. That's all I could really do. I never really knew what else I would do if it wasn't the play golf or be in the golf business.
But the value to learn all the aspects, when you were a child, picking up the range, and then everything you did in Orlando to learn the business of golf. Really, when you got here in the late 90s, you were much more than an assistant.
I was prepared.
You weren't green.
I was prepared. No, I was. Yeah. I was prepared to be, in my opinion, you think you know everything, but you didn't. I mean, Tidewater's taught me a lot, but I felt like I did bring a lot to Tidewater with regards to just, the way we did it down there. It was just different. You know? We just did things differently here. But being in this area now I've called this area home over half my life now. And, it's been a great place to work, great place to live. I was just driving here today, and I was telling Aaron when I got here, the drive between Tidewater and here, right down the beach, everybody's having a good time. It just makes you happy to where you're living. The people at Tidewater I've worked with, our accountant's been there 25 years. Our shop manager, who works closely with me, he's been there 26. Our superintendent, 21. It's just our love for the property, man. Nobody leaves. Yeah. It's just a great place to be, a great place to work. And like I said, we just purchased by Kemper Sports, and man, we're just thrilled with them. They've been fantastic to us. So the transition from our old owner to the new owner has been fantastic for everyone.
Well, that's great and important. Here, here we have the same, very little turnover, a great team, and that love the area. Born and raised in North Myrtle Beach, so I share all that sentiment with driving to work every day and being happy. And
just happy you live here.
People that visit here are happy, and the people that work here are happy. It's just it's a wonderful place that I'm just so thankful every day to come and do this.
I mean, we call it work.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
Yeah. And then
work.
get paid to do it.
That's
you know,
right.
it's just wow.
That's exactly right. But no, what a beautiful area. And I've just been blessed to be at Tidewater as long as I have. I love the property.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's changed management a few times. Glad that Kemper Sports and you guys are doing a great job over there. What has not changed is how special that golf course is.
Yeah.
Tell us about the golf course and what are some key factors that make it so great.
Well, I mean, just the property itself. I mean, you were almost 600 acres out there, and you've got an 18-hole facility, you know? So the cool part about Tidewater is when you're standing on a tee, you really don't see anybody else, you know? You don't see another hole. I mean, there's a couple places where you can, but for the most part, every hole's its own experience. You know, it's a Parkland style. You start there by the clubhouse, and then you blast out onto the Cherry Grove Salt Marsh, and you get to play out there a little while, and then you make the turn back, and you come back over. Now you get on the intercoastal side, you know, and you get to play along those. So the views, the property itself, that's what makes it special. Kemper, as I said, they realized when they got to Tidewater right away, look, we can make this place even better sooner, you know, than I had anticipated. And right away, they saw the value in putting money back into the bunkers. You know, we just got through a big renovation back in February, and all of our bunker faces have been, for lack of a better word, all the surrounds, the bunkers have been modernized.
Yeah.
You know, Tidewater was 30 plus years old, and the bunkers really had never had a facelift. So they recognize that right away, to their credit. And man, they have really improved the way that golf course looks. It looks a lot more modern and sleek. We had the old push-up bunkers, you know, where you push the sand up. And what a constant maintenance nightmare that is after all the big thunderstorms we have. So now the grass is now, you know, grown them down. It had the big, beautiful faces now with the sand down in the middle, a lot easier to maintain, and just a really cool modern look.
I'm sure it looks great. I'm only semi-excited about that because I'm always in them.
We tried to make it more player-friendly too, you know? I mean, our president, the head of our company, the gentleman says, play golf, play fun, play fast. You know, that's what he wants everyone to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, play fun, play fast. You know, it's supposed to be a good time, right?
Yeah.
So we tried to make it more player friendly. I mean, even though we really didn't take out a ton of bunkers, we left them. I mean, they're there, but we made them smaller, and we gave you more grass in between all those areas to miss shots and make mistakes. And over the years, you know, I've heard the problems, and hey, God, I wish y'all would do something over here. And, you know, you watch it over time, and you can look at like right at 13 green, a beautiful par 5 out there on the Salt Marsh. The right side, when the greens get firm, it would roll down. If you hit it on the green, you hit a great shot and you get penalized because it would roll down into this big waste bunker over here. So we said, look, let's cover that up and grass that area over there, give people a fighting chance to make a par if they miss the green after they've hit a good shot.
Yeah.
So to Kemper's credit, I mean, they came in, they said, look, let's make this place more player friendly. Let's make it so we can play fast, play fun. And I think we've accomplished that.
I would say, and Aaron, I'll ask your opinion of it. I've always found Tidewater to be challenging, but a fair test.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple courses on the beach that aren't unfair, but are more challenging, and sometimes I will choose to play something different.
Yep.
Tidewater's not one of those, but you can get into trouble out there. Aaron, you're our in-house player. How do you feel about the course?
Love it. I mean, it's, as Chris said, one thing I always say that I like about a golf course is I like the views while I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not, you know, you'll pass some golfers, but you're not playing on holes together. The course is spread out. Some of the nicest views.
Oh,
the
stunning.
the marsh views, the waterway views.
We tell people to get your phone out, get your camera ready.
So many advertisements are from Tidewater.
The Myrtle Beach area, period.
Yeah.
You know, you see the big,
anything
beautiful on magazine cover, all that. Yeah, that's number 12 at Tidewater. That's what they're looking at.
And every hole, I mean, has its own identity. There's no, like, you know, in some courses you'd be like, I feel like I've played this hole before. You don't have that.
And you hit all the clubs. You hit all your clubs.
Yes.
When you play Tidewater. I mean, it's not like you're going to have a day of drivers and wedges. You're going to hit your mid irons. You're going to hit your woods. You're going to hit everything.
Yeah, one of my favorite holes is number 10.
Oh,
I love 10.
We double T, and I always say, look, you start on 10, 11, and 12. That's a bigger kick in the shins than starting on 1, 2, and 3 because you get a two great par fours, even though a very short par four, a lake short of the green.
You got to place it.
And we've shaved that bank, so you're hitting a short iron in there. But yeah, you gotta pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
We're talking specific holes. Chris, what's the signature hole at Tidewater that everyone needs to know about?
I call it the signature corner.
Yeah.
Everyone sees that picture of 12 there. It's a beautiful par 3. The Peninsula Green sits out there. I mean, years back, we've taken a few trees out on that corner now. So that tee box can range from 100 yards all the way back to 200 now, just depending on what we feel like doing with the tees that day. It's got the left side, it's got a split level there, and then kind of drops down and goes to the right. But with the new bunker, we've taken out that front little sliver of a bunker. They used to penalize people for good shots. It would roll off of there and sometimes rest up against that bulkhead because it was so thin there.
Yeah. So
we've taken that out, giving you a little more grass there. Yeah, number 12 is the beautiful par 3, and then obviously you turn right into 13. Beautiful par 5. It's a good 2-shot hole if you hit a good drive. I mean, you can make a 3 or 4 there. You can get it on the green, but you got to pay attention to what you're doing because that's a 3-level green. And so hitting a precise approach, whether it be your second shot if you're trying to go for it or a good tight wedge. But like I said before, we've tied in some of those bunkers now where it's not as penal around the green.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever had any negative comments about people playing Tidewater, except that they didn't book it quick enough and that it's not available. Aaron, what is a great package to consider when you are planning your golf trip to Myrtle Beach on mbgolf.com and you want Tidewater to be a part of your itinerary?
Coincidence, you actually say didn't book it early enough because Tidewater is part of the elite package that we offer on mbgolf.com, which features 4 of what I would consider my personal favorites in the area anyway: Arrowhead, Arcadian Shores, Prestwick, and of course Tidewater. The big advantage to that package is the early booking discounts that are offered. They offer 2. So if you're booking 6 or more months out, obviously the bigger the discount. And they do still offer a 3 to 5 month discount. But if you book early, you want that 6 month savings because it's by far the best.
It is. And you know what's weird about that package? We put that thing together years ago. And normally packages that you pair yourself with a certain group of people. Normally packages kind of run their courses, but that thing stays. It stays around and is hung around. And I talked to Jay Smith down at Prestwick all the time about it, or Frank over at, Arcadian. And we say, look, man, is this thing going to ever quit? And they're like, nah, let's do it again. Because it just continues. People continue to book it. And I think it is the good savings with the early windows.
Yeah.
Getting in there early and it's got to be 10 years, I think it's been around.
Oh, I would say at least. And I mean, with the way the bookings have trended in recent years, booking earlier.
I was just going to say that, 10 years, the market for golf has been up and down so much in that 10 years. And we're sitting now where people are booking earlier than ever to play. So that's really a testament to that package, the elite package, that because you've had light years and you've had strong years and you've had all that market fluctuation in between, and the elite package is still there. And if that is one of the most long-standing packages in all of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing our side of it for as long as Chris has been at Tidewater, and I've seen a lot of packages come and go.
Yeah, sure.
Time, so
you always want to try something different, but at the same token, don't fix it if it ain't broke.
And it's the value in it. It's the booking early. It's the value. But you're right. Normally you see a golf course, you're like, wow, that's the same 4 on that thing, but no, it just continues to do well. Yeah. And it's because you're getting those great golf courses at such a good price.
Yeah. And the catch is also with that package is, like you said, it's 4 golf courses, but you don't have to play all 4. You just have to do a multi-play on it to take advantage of it. So if if previous years you played 1 or 2 of the courses and you want to switch it up, you can, got that flexibility. So
you can pick 2 of them and then play 2 other courses you've never played before, still get the value.
That's great. Yeah, I love the flexibility in that.
Yeah.
Well, the elite package is available on mbgolf.com. Aaron and the team are ready to take your phone calls, online chats, or emails. We'd be happy to put a quote together for you listeners and get you out on Tidewater. Chris, it's been awesome talking the world of golf and Tidewater with you. You mind sticking around and we talk a little more Myrtle Beach golf?
I'd love it.
Let's do it.
It's been good.
The Back Nine.
Okay, the Back Nine, talking a little more Myrtle Beach golf, which we'll always love to do. Aaron, the fall is booking up, and we're in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fall started booking in spring, which we are, a forehead wipe made it through and everything was good. Great. I mean, shoot, the weather in the spring, you couldn't ask for better.
The best April we ever had.
Yeah, I mean, hardly, I know we needed some of it, but we had hardly any rain. I don't think we had any groups deal with hardly any weather.
No, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to make it tough for next April.
Yeah, so we've set expectations high for the fall with that spring season we had. So we are still booking, but we've already taken a lot of bookings. As we always mention, people tend to book earlier and earlier every year. So tee sheets are filling up for the fall, but it continues to go. So which is good.
That's good. Well, I think that, April we had great weather in April, but for me, October and a little bit of early November is my favorite time of year in the Myrtle Beach area.
Best time to play golf down there.
So, and it's booking up. That's apparent. Yeah. So, and we've had next spring bookings too.
We've got groups that have already stayed with us April, May, are already booked for next year. So,
back to that elite package.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we were talking about book it now.
Product placement.
You get the best deal, go right back, see you, and book it again for next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's when the best price is.
Product placement. Let me place some more product over the microphone
But
here.
to your point, the fall down here, beautiful.
Yeah.
Weather's perfect. Golf courses are perfect. That's when you never know how your golf course is going to look exactly in March. Yeah. You don't know what kind of winter were you going to have, right? This year we had a horrible winter. A lot of golf courses are still dormant. They still look that way. But when the fall rolls around, golf courses are perfect.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yep.
All of them are perfect.
Chris had a short drive down Sea Mountain Highway and down the boulevard to get to our office. Our office is only minutes away from most of our accommodations in North Myrtle Beach. So you're within a half hour of most of the golf courses in the Myrtle Beach area, which couldn't be more centrally located to these great courses. Aaron, our accommodations of the episode are next door to our office, the Malibu Point. Chris, these condos are great. We've got 1, 3, and 4 bedroom condos and 4 bedroom, 4 bath condos right across the street from the beach with an ocean view. We've got fully equipped kitchens, great bedding for golf packages. Aaron, our golfers just can't say enough about the Malibu Point.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular ones we have. I mean, it is requested. Same groups every year. I think the hardest thing for us is being able to have them available for groups because they get booked up so quickly.
I'd like more of them.
Yeah,
so if there's an owner listening that is not part of a rental program, we'd love to have you.
If you got a 3 or a 4, bring it our way because we can use it.
Because it's super popular and it's got resort amenities as well. It's got a lazy river, multiple pools, fitness center. It's dynamite of a place.
Yeah.
And it's a golfer's haven.
For an evening nightcap, Molly Darcy's.
Yeah,
right
Molly Darcy's.
Oh, yeah.
And the value's great because, it's across the street from the beach and you get all of the oceanfront resort amenities for a little bit more value.
Yeah.
So definitely consider the Malibu Point when you're booking your elite package to play Tidewater on mbgolf.com. I think I covered it all with that one.
Yeah.
You did.
Well, guys, it's been a great episode, but we have to end it with teed off. I'm going to kick my teed off. All
right.
Kick it off. Mine's easy's. Wyndham Clark.
Oh.
Tease me off, man.
I noticed you didn't mention him in the earlier part.
I didn't mention him, no.
Well, we were going to save him to the last.
I was hoping the RNA were going to ban him from playing anyway, which I think would be extreme. But, Oakmont, he should not be suiting it up at Oakmont when they return there in, 8 years?
Who even says he'll be eligible there in 8 years?
Well,
anyway?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But he tore up the Quail Hollow locker room too. I mean,
did he kick in? I know I saw the pictures of what happened at Oakmont.
He tore up something, a T-Mobile something.
He threw his driver
at a sign.
Yeah, which coincidentally, doesn't T-Mobile sponsor him? There's a T-Mobile hat.
Well, I don't know.
Does he really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, maybe it was intentional then. He was having bad service or something. But, we talk about Rory and we're being so critical of him not talking to the media. At least he's not trashing dressing rooms. It's just, what is this? And then his apology.
Yeah.
It was so cringeworthy. He's like, I'm real sorry about that, but I'd like to move on. I bet you would like to move on.
Yeah.
You need to eat some humble pie, man. I mean, you are not Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
unfortunately, there is a bit of a double standard there. You can't do that stuff, but you're a major champion and could be a big part of the Ryder Cup.
Sure.
Man, what a jerk.
I just hate it, man. Just kids are watching. That's for me. I'm sure we're trying to grow the game on my side of the, and then kids see that type of thing. That's what I have a problem with. I mean,
and he's an adult.
Yeah, let's grow the game together. I mean, I see those guys, and like we said before, a lot of pressure. But yeah, I mean, you got to act like you know what you're doing.
Golden rule with people and stuff.
Yeah.
Treat it how you want to be treated.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I can remember when I was younger. I mean, the occasional club might whip out of my hand, but I haven't done that in years.
No,
it's and even with the bad round course, I think I've mellowed out a lot when it comes to
back
my
to me talking to my dad introduced me to the game. I mean, if I acted that way on the golf course, I wouldn't get to go to the golf course.
Yeah,
that's just how it was going to be.
Yeah,
so be mowing a lot of grass. At the house, that type of stuff. But just like you said, golden rule. I mean,
that was easy.
Got to set an example,
especially at Oakmont.
Got to set an example.
I mean, it's like hallowed grounds. It's.
I mean, anywhere. Don't do it at your local muni, let alone at Oakmont.
Yeah, we're picking on Liv for having music. Don't beat up the place.
Yeah.
I mean, we're picking on all the golf right now.
Right.
So, let's just set an example.
So that was an easy one by me and probably a cop-out. But Aaron, what's your teed off?
Well, mine's actually going to fall on me, which happened recently.
Okay.
So I guess I teed myself off. I've probably mentioned before, sometimes if you're playing, there's some weather around. Every group has a weatherman. Well, I played the weatherman and I got caught.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, I think we got some time. No, we did not.
I do it every day.
Yeah.
You get stuck on the course or
we got off, but got soaked. And had we just left whatever we should have left, it would have been fine. But that was me playing weatherman, which I will not do again.
I mean, this time of year, it's tough to be the weatherman.
It is.
There's stuff's popping
especially
up.
recent weeks.
It's tough.
Well, I pulled the classic. I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for a while,
At least you have your phone up. You were checking the radar.
I did look at the radar. Yeah, I even looked at it. They had it wrong, man.
And then because it shows up.
Yeah.
Right after it's about to start raining. It's a 20% chance of rain. Then I look at the clouds. I look at my phone, 80% chance of rain. I'm like, of course it is.
Yeah, I said, oh, we got plenty of time. A bolt of lightning crashes down about, yards
showers,
from me.
Man.
So no more weatherman for me. That teed off is on me, to me.
That's a good one. Chris, what tees you off?
You know what? I mean, I could sit here and tell you 1,000 things, really, all the way from it always comes down to, and I was talking to Aaron about this earlier. If you're a guy and you've been standing behind the counter any length of time and you've worked in the golf business anywhere, there's going to be the phone calls that you get and everybody just wants you to predict the weather.
Yep.
I mean, I'm playing next week. What's the weather going to be? There's the frost delays. I mean, I've heard those before.
Because you guys have the secret meteorology equipment.
There's all of that. So I tried to come up with one. I said, I'm just going to think one that hurts my feelings personally when I'm out playing golf, which isn't a whole lot anymore. But when I do have the chance to go out and I'm in a bunker, right? And I'm in a huge bunker and I hit my shot and I'm looking around for a rake and there's not a rake, or there's one rake. And then you go by a little bitty bunker and there's 5 rakes around. So, I think that's just something I'm just thinking. I've thought before about, the beverage cart. I mean, you see the beverage cart right at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of those things, but yeah, I could give you a bunch. Not all of them really tick me off because there again, I work at a golf course and I play golf all the time. But if I had to choose one, that would probably be it. Why can't, this is a big bunker. Why can't there be a lot of rakes around this one? Well, during the day, everybody has chosen to grab the rake and move it over to this little tiny bunker that's way over here.
Yeah.
So
they call
it's
that
not a big tick me off, but that's just
they call that bunker the 20 and over handicap bunker because
right.
He's in the one that you should probably be in.
Yeah. Well, the one that's got all the rakes around it, ironically, is the one that is raked the worst or not raked at all.
That's correct. That's exactly
because I've had a few teed offs before where I'm in shoe marks or.
But it's hard to play your own golf course. Yeah. I don't even like to because I see every problem.
Yeah, that's true.
All I end up doing are fixing ball marks, picking up broken tees. taking care of everything. So I like to play other
mangled
golf
cups.
courses. Exactly. So I can at least relax a little when I play somewhere else. But I'm sure all the guys will tell you the same thing. They all feel that way. Everyone hates playing their own course.
Yeah.
I could see that.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, you hate playing your own course because you're just too critical.
Yeah.
you know. And the golf, the guys out there having a good time, they're not looking at it the way I'm looking at it.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good one.
Well,
Introspective there.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. I've talked to a lot of guys about it too. They're like, "Nah, I don't even like playing it."
Yeah. It makes total sense.
First
Never
of all,
thought
you're
about
working 50 hours a week, and then you get a chance to play golf. You don't want to stay at the same place.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, because it's more like work. You
Yeah.
know, the pleasure in it is going
It's
to
kind
be.
of unwritten rule amongst all the guys. You know when to ask when they're busy, but when they come out, come on out, man, have a good time, enjoy yourself today. You know, that type of thing.
We know when to play.
It's hard to do at your own facility.
Yeah,
It's
it
really
sure
hard
is.
to enjoy yourself all the time.
Well, Chris Cooper, general manager of Tidewater Golf Club, thank you so much for joining us.
A lot of
today.
fun, guys. This was really cool. Thank you very
thanks,
much.
Chris.
We'll have to have you back.
Yep.
Aaron, another great episode. Next episode, 25.
25.
25. So we'll have to do some sort of celebration.
Toast.
Yeah, a toast. Maybe we can get a beverage sponsor for that episode. We'll
Perfect.
see. But thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Teed Off. Visit mbgolf.com and follow us on Instagram at Teed Off Podcast for the latest episodes and news.